Trump has been boosting this drug that, again, he does not understand and doesn't actually care about, and medical professionals are now fighting back. Here is the president of the second largest nurses union in the country talking about Trump's medical strategy.
Well, first of all, it's embarrassing that we have a president that's acting like a snake oil salesman trying to peddle his cure that is not proven. You need to get supplies to the proper people. You need to get the N95s. You need to get the ventilators to New York City. This is crazy. If the stuff is there, why aren't we seeing it? Why are you putting more stress on everyone involved by not making sure they have what they need? It's unforgivable.
Yeah, I agree. Unforgivable to be putting on this sideshow when the nurses and doctors that people rightfully are holding up as heroes right now, they're telling you exactly what they need. It's not complicated. It's not hard to understand. They need masks. They need gowns. They need ventilators. They need protection and pay for the crazy amount of work that they're doing. All of this has been laid out from the very beginning. They keep reiterating it literally every single day. And instead, he comes up there and he talks to the MyPillow guy, and then he talks about this drug, and then he talks about a company to boost its stock price. And that is not helping the nurses. And so I'm glad that they're striking back against him and labeling him a snake oil salesman.
Yeah, I mean, shout out to all of the nurses, and I think they are the ones who are on the front lines, if we're going to use wartime analogy. And I hope we come out of this with far more respect and money for nurses and for the public healthcare system, any kind of public healthcare system. But I just want to say that I think that a lot of what Trump is doing is ideological, right? His entire government and the Steve Bannon-esque worldview is that government should be essentially shut down. It should be invaded, like Invasion of the Body Snatchers, by pro-business interests, and again, sold for parts. And you've seen in every single person who heads up at, any government entity, right? It's like Betsy DeVos in front of, as the head of the Department of Education. Like, all these people don't actually believe in government. And so when you need government, like a global pandemic, a nationwide outbreak, right? They are nowhere to be found. And that is purely ideological. And so I would not be surprised if you asked Jared Kushner or Donald Trump or Steve Mnuchin or Larry Kudlow if they see a problem with companies selling masks and PPE abroad to the highest bidder. Their answer would probably be no, because that's the market value, because they only believe in the market. They don't actually believe in the function of government, which is to protect its people.
Exactly. Yeah. Or selling it domestically for 10, 20,
Right.
100 times. I mean, why not? They were fine with insulin, like being jacked up. Well, I guess they can. There's a lot of demand. Why not let them? And the thing is, like, there are the people who are still, I guess, consistent, like Trump, that, and other Republicans, that they didn't care about these sorts of abuses before and they don't care now. There are some people that sort of frustratingly are realizing that, like, people need help now in terms of testing and treatment, but don't believe that that should go beyond the bounds of this pandemic. What we need to get to is people who realize that the same sort of, like, deep gut reaction that makes that what's going on right now and that leaving people to their own devices to deal with it is inherently wrong, that should be always active for all of, like, for the pandemics that we don't pay attention to, for the chronic illnesses and things like that. That's what we need to get to. And unfortunately, that still seems like the smallest, like, wedge in that pie.
Yeah. And I think one thing I'm concerned about is, and this is the case that progressives and people on the left and, Democrats are going to have to make, is that when this is over, obviously, we're going to be feeling the economic recession and potential depression for many, many, many years. And that can't be an opportunity to accept austerity and accept less by saying, well, the government's broke. We don't have anything. Look at we spent all this money trying to get ventilators, even though we did it so late, right? Like, we're going to be asked to tighten our belts even more, even when people are out of work, even when, we don't know where the next paycheck is coming from, even though we don't know how to afford groceries. So that is something that we can't lose sight of when all of this hopefully is over.
Yeah, it's going to be used to justify the sorts of things that they would have done otherwise and have wanted to do for a long time,
Right.
like austerity in all areas, unfortunately. And for those of you who are watching the show, I am curious. I mean, Donald Trump, like from the very beginning, for years and years and years and years and years, has effectively been a combination of a con man and a cult leader more recently. Like
Yes.
the fact that he's taken up like the image of the snake oil salesman, the guy touting like a tonic to cure what ails you. Like, is that going to get through to people, or the same people that have never had a problem with it before going to be unconcerned about this? For more political news breakdowns, interviews, stories of activism, and me trying my hardest to care about the occasional big celebrity news story, subscribe to our YouTube channel at youtube.com/thedamagereport. And you can ring the bell wherever it is so you don't miss anything.